tell me a little about the 4 and the 5 iron, maybe even down to the wedge. Technology, does it change within the set? What's important for us is making sure that launch, spin, and descent fall in our windows.
I'd have to play a full set of these.
Welcome back to our Scottsdale studio. I'm Mark Roybal, joining Master Club fitter Sam Kim, and today we have a special guest, Mr. John Freeman, Senior Product Engineer from Mizuno Golf. John, what is in your hand right now?
So I've got the Mizuno Pro M-15. Excited to show you guys both the Mizuno Pro M-15 and M-13 irons.
Okay, so what's the major difference between the two models here?
So the M-15 is going to be our hollow body forging, really deep CG, low center of gravity, and then the M-13 is our cavity back. A lot of performance from the 4 to the pitch and wedge.
Similar shapes, you look down on them and they're really beautiful kind of player style iron. Maybe a little bit of a combo set too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely players head shapes, minimal offset. That's what you're going to find in the Mizuno Pro line. M-13 is going to be that smaller, kind of modern lofted iron set, a little more demanding, workable, and then the M-15 maximum performance. Sure. A lot of ball speed, a lot of launch forgiveness.
That one's probably a rocket. This one also could perform pretty well. Let's go hit some in the bay.
Let's do it.
All right, Sam, we already got data on the Mizuno Pro 243. This is the new Mizuno Pro M-13. Let's hit it.
Let's do it.
What do you notice when you first put it down, Sammy?
A couple things stand out. The first would be the offset. There's not that much. The less offset, the better. Obviously need some. Having just done MP 243, now looking at this, to me, the top line looks pretty similar, but from heel to toe, this looks longer, which to my eye looks more forgiving. It looks bigger without actually being bigger, if that makes sense. But to my eye, it looks really nice.
Let's hit it. Oh, that's great. You don't need that extra space. John, is it actually longer compared to the Pro 243?
Compared to the 243, it's a little bit bigger. We kind of utilized a little bit bigger head size to add more forgiveness and more speed.
Okay.
Just increasing that rebound area on the face.
Yeah, it looks really good. The other thing that stands out to me is the sole. The sole definitely looks good.
Yeah, completely new sole, what we're calling triple cut. It's got kind of that high bounce leading edge for forgiveness into the turf, and then a beveled trailing edge so it's smooth out of the turf.
Obviously, we're hitting off a mat today, but I imagine this gets through grass really nicely.
It does, and it sounds really good too through the turf.
That's great, Sammy. And even off the mat, with that tri-sole, we could still see where a strike location is on the club face. And if that's gonna start getting really high or really low, we as club fitters have an idea of what sole width is and how important it is for that player, right?
Yeah, I think this looks really nice, and it feels really good even on the mat. It feels great.
All right, Sammy, we have 190 yards. For you, this would be a second shot in a par 5. Let's go ahead and hit the green here.
That felt really good.
Good height is the main thing, right?
Yeah, ball just getting up in the air. Feels really nice off the face, really soft. Kind of how you would expect a Mizuno to feel, which is great.
And John, tell me a little about like the 4 and the 5 iron and the 6 and maybe even down to the wedge. Do the technology, does it change within the set?
Yeah, so it's actually changing quite drastically within the set. This M-13 iron set really showcases 3 of our highest performance forgings. The 4 and 5 being just face, neck, and top line forged. What we're calling like a full pocket cavity design. That really gives us complete design freedom to the back of the face. We can go as thin as we want. I think we got all the way down to like 1.37 minimum face thickness.
You're shifting CG as well with all that as well.
With CG, yes. So we can concentrate the weight low and deep in that construction. As we get to the 6, 7, 8, it's just one piece forged micro slot. So it's still got some face technology,
okay.
But not quite as much as the 4 and 5 as we transition to the 9 pitch gap where it's just our classic one piece forged cavity back.
Yeah, and same as obviously as loft increases, generally the player who will fit into this probably doesn't need as much help or as much tech, right? Shorter golf club, more loft, so they'll kind of save that for the game improvement stuff, if you will, which is not where this is.
That feels great. It feels really nice.
I mean, with lofts, these would be kind of modern lofted now at a 6 iron at 28 degrees. What's important for us is making sure that launch, spin, and descent fall in our windows, right? So at his speeds, we want to be 45 to kind of 50 descent. But 16.5 launch and 5,300 spin, I mean, that's a very functional golf shot.
About what I'd expect to see, right?
Just kind of to sum up this iron set, in my eyes, it's the ultimate combo set. With the crazy lofts in the industry, we've kind of taken all the work onto ourselves. We've given you 3 different technologies, performance where you need it, high performance long irons, mid-performance mid-irons to help you transition to those scoring irons.
Yeah, I mean, that's an ultimate iron set. You almost have 3 separate irons in an iron family, 4 to pitch, right? And 4 to gap even for some.
Yeah, I think to me the biggest thing would be, obviously that sole is different. That's the main thing that stands out. We're hitting a 6 iron behind the ball. It frames the ball really nicely and it sits really nice behind the ball. It looks great.
Even with the technologies changing so much from 4 to pitch, we've kind of tied everything together with that full cavity badge. So the set looks the same. You would never know the technology is changing that drastically underneath. And then putting the triple cut sole on everything, it's gonna perform really nice.
That sole's gonna be all the way down to pitching wedge?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, and I got the chance to see the pitching wedge in this set, and I think pitching wedges can be hard in terms of how they look, and I thought it looked awesome.
All right, Sammy, let's go ahead and hit the new M-15. John, what would you expect to see, just pure visuals?
This head shape's still gonna look very, very players. Minimal offset. Compared to the M-13, it is a little bit bigger head size to cater towards more high performance, bigger face area for rebound.
Sam, putting it down, would you say blade length is comparable?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the top line's a little bit bigger, but that's what you would expect. What stands out to me the most is the same as the M-13 is the offset. For this category of iron, there's not a lot of offset in it. It looks like there's no offset in it, which looks really nice. And then sole, I notice, is different here compared to the 13.
Is that true? No tri-sole in that one?
Yeah, so no tri-sole on the M-15. It does kind of have a beveled trailing edge, which is gonna give you that improved turf interaction as you're exiting the turf.
Sure. It still looks a little bit wide though, in the sense of like, you're probably not digging too much with that thing.
Probably not digging, a little bit wider sole, increased bounce compared to its predecessor,
Okay.
MP245.
Okay.
John, what player would you expect to see kind of fit into this M-15 line?
So it's a player who's maybe coming from a player's cavity back who still prefers minimal offset, smaller compact head shape, but needs that added performance benefit.
Sammy, I would say from our end, this is a player who maybe lacks force and needs a little bit of help, a little bit of tech. I would say maybe like myself.
Yeah,
Let's
but
go
still,
and hit
but
this
still
rocket.
wants something that looks good.
Yeah, it still looks good. Let's hit this rocket. Let's see what happens. Really good Kingston.
That was great. I love how high it went. Definitely looks like to me like it went higher than the 13. And I'd expect from a loft difference, we'd expect maybe a little bit more ball speed, a little bit more distance. Maybe spin comes down a little bit, although it doesn't really look like it did there.
No, yeah, even with the stronger lofts, I mean, the technology in this hollow body with 50 grams of tungsten, low and deep, you're still gonna get a good descent angle and a really good launch angle with good spin.
I think that's so important, John. I think in the fitting bays, Sam and I hear it all the time. The loft's getting stronger, loft's getting stronger. And there's some truth to that. But what I tell our clients is that I don't really care what the loft is, as long as the launch, spin, descent are appropriate. So that'd be a perfect example of it right there, Sammy. That thing was 109 feet in the air, 46 descent. That's stopping pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, especially here in Arizona when it gets firm and fast. Like there would be no concern there that ball, that you couldn't go to a tuck pin on any green here, which is great.
And John, I know in the M-13, we kind of talked about almost 3 different style of irons within the set. Would you say in the M-15 that's also true?
It's true, the construction does vary. The one consistent thing here is they're all hollow body.
Okay.
The 4 through 7 is a hollow body with tungsten. The 8 is just hollow body, no tungsten. And then the 9 pitch gap are half hollow. So the hollow is actually low in the club. So we can raise the sweet spot and have higher spin, lower launch on those scoring irons.
Yeah, I think the cool idea here with like knowing that this is a hollow body design is that you can tell that it feels a little different than the M-13. But if we were talking to somebody about a combo set, which we get a lot in the bays, I think these would combo really well, and I'd imagine that would be the idea.
No, for sure. And the feel comes from how we forge our golf clubs. I mean, you see a lot of competitors just forging the face and then welding it onto the body. Yep. Anything we call forged, we're gonna have continuity between the impact area, the top line, and the hosel. That is key to have continuous grains from impact area up to the hosel that gives you that good feedback and feel, no matter the construction.
I mean, to touch on that, the continuous grains and no matter the construction, if you have a hollow body iron with continuous grains, you're going to get really, really consistent launch and spin and in theory, no hot spots, right? That's the whole goal here.
It's about as good as I can hit it there.
That was great, Sammy. When you come to Mizuno, right, that's exactly the reaction that you would hope from our clients and that John loves to hear is the feel.
Nothing feels like a Mizuno.
Look at your horizontal impact and vertical impact. 0-0.
Is good.
0-0.
That's pretty good. Sammy, to touch a little bit on that combo set idea, where would you split it and how do those conversations go with your clients?
Yeah, I think it depends on the player. I think finding out where they feel comfortable. I think most people who come in the Bay, you hear a lot of like, man, I love my 6, but I hate that 5. Or I feel really comfortable up to the 7, the 6 gets a little iffy. So I think you can start those combo conversations off of that. I'd say most times, it depends again on the player, but I'll see going to something a little more forgiving in maybe the 4-5 or even the 4-5-6.
Yep.
Occasionally down to the 7, but I think it usually kind of stops at 6.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I would completely agree. I think it's important to have the conversation with the client. And I think ultimately the data will also impact that conversation. And then we get guys like John in here to tell us not even the tour guys are carrying 4 irons, right? Or they're carrying a different 4 iron than the rest of their set. So I think everybody needs a little bit of help. And now with the M-15, you have help really kind of throughout the set without changing the look. It doesn't look like a game improvement iron.
When we are talking about those combo sets, as you get into the long irons, it's usually two thoughts. It's either they're not hitting their long irons far enough, and that's usually correlated with height. They're not hitting it high enough. Or it's a forgiveness thing, and they feel like, man, I look down at that smaller 4 iron, and I just don't feel like I'm gonna hit it well. Whereas you put something like this down, that still looks nice, but it's a little bit bigger, maybe gives you a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, and that's where the M-15 is really gonna shine in terms of that height forgiveness. It's gonna get up the most of any of our irons.
Yeah, and I think we haven't gotten to data yet really, but I think what the numbers are gonna show us is there's definitely a peak height and descent angle difference going from that 13 to
That's
the
crazy.
15.
As I was just thinking about that. So that'd probably do a little bit to the tungsten and I would assume the ball speed gains, right? Getting in the air a little quicker.
Yeah, I mean, higher ball speed's gonna increase the lift, get up there, but really due to the tungsten and the hollow body design.
I would imagine the weight varies in the 4 and the 5 and the 6 and as you work your way down.
Actually about 50 grams in each 4, 5,
Oh, wow.
6, and 7. The shape varies slightly. 4, 5 have the same shape, and then the 6, 7 have a different shape. The 4, 5 being kind of stretched out to get the CG even lower, and then the 6, 7 shape kind of being geared towards increased toe heel MOI. Okay. So a little tighter dispersion in those as you get to the scoring irons.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. As loft gets introduced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sammy, is that something when you look down at that you could see maybe a little bit of help in a positive way? You look down and be like, yeah, I could play this in a 4. I wouldn't mind that.
I think the biggest complaint I get from people who come in who are maybe the better player talking about combo sets would be, I'd love a little more help in the 4-5, I just don't really like the way it looks. And I think the biggest talking point you'll get from the better player will be offset. Aside from the sole on the 13, the biggest thing that stood out to me in both of these irons has been the lack of offset. I think they just look really nice from an offset standpoint, which is why I think you could play these all the way through. And the worry maybe for someone who comes in here who's on the fence about 13 versus 15, playing it all the way through, would be this M-15 in a pitching wedge still looks really good.
Oh, so like the worry would maybe be like the size getting too big all the way to the pitching wedge or something.
Yeah, because I think when we're in here, like we fit with 6 irons.
Correct.
I am not able to show you the entire set, but what's cool to be able to see them is to know, like, if I tell you M-15 is a good fit for you, I've seen the pitching wedge. I think you're not going to call me in a month and say, hey, that 9 and pitch don't look good compared to the 6 I demoed. I think they look good all the way through from a top line offset standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we pay a lot of attention to in really all the iron sets, especially Mizuno Pro irons. Having that good, small, compact head shape in the scoring irons, where loft is your friend and you don't necessarily need as much forgiveness as you would in a 4 iron.
That sounded really good.
So that one was cool too, because that was slightly low on the face, maybe a groove low.
Okay, so you'd expect a lower strike to hopefully retain, yeah, look at that, retain your ball speed.
Yeah, retain ball speed and a little bit of height, right? Those thin shots are gonna come out a little bit lower. I don't think we lost too much height there, and the ball speed stayed.
Yeah, so that ball speed forgiveness that you're seeing can be directly attributed to brand new face thickness design that we're calling contour lips. So on the M15, you've got it in the 4 through 8 iron, getting as thin as like 1.1 millimeters. Wow. In the core area, when I say that, I mean just off-center ball speed forgiveness is 38% larger compared to its predecessor on the M15.
There's so much technology packed in a compact, kind of tour-inspired shape. Yep. So you can miss it all over the face and still be okay. That's so good. That sounded good, Sammy.
Yeah, I'd have to play a full set of these. Yeah, they just feel forgiving. I feel like the bad ones really can't be that bad, and they feel great.
Yeah, just one more thing on the feel, on top of the forging that gives you that good feel. In the hollow body construction, we've really engineered sound ribs on the back face to maintain structure where that portion of the club flexes a lot and attributes to a lot of the bad sound. So the sound ribs on the back of the face help keep that stable. And then both M13 and M15 have that copper underlay that you've seen on all of our MP clubs through the years.
And really, when you talk about a hollow body iron, the first thing that I think of is like, how does it sound? What are the acoustics? Because what happens is if you get maybe a non-favorable sound, the consumer correlates that to the feel, right? Mm-hmm. Feels clickier and whatever they're using. And you guys certainly have knocked this out of the park with the sound, at least from me, and I think Sammy would probably say the same.
Right, and then we're not wasting any mass by putting some dampening material or foam in the head. We're using geometry, we're using the sound ribs, and we're using our forging process to maintain the good acoustics.
Okay. All right, Sam, so we have on the screen here, we have the Mizuno M-13 and the Mizuno M-15. This tells quite the story, right? I think for me, if I'm looking at it, ball speed would kind of make sense, hollow body, a little bit of loft for sure, but the launch. So what would you attribute the launch difference of almost a full degree in a stronger lofted iron versus the weaker lofted iron?
Right, definitely straight to the hollow body construction with that 50 grams of tungsten. I mean, even though 2 degrees stronger loft, we've made up almost a full degree of launch angle.
Yeah, so to our point earlier, Sammy, that's the descent, the height, the spin, it's still doing both those things. Spin rate's virtually the same. The carry, that's probably the big difference of loft too, right?
Right, getting upwards almost over, or right at 200, and then 194 with the M13, you'll see more distance gains with the M15, and then a little bit lower spin.
Yeah. I think the other story this data will tell us is whether you want to play a full set of M13s or a full set of M15s, or you want to combo set them. Those numbers would indicate you could combo set and not even notice a difference, which I think is the idea with a combo set. If these numbers are way different, then now you got to talk about, well, how do I make the 6 and 5 go together from a gapping standpoint? But I think here you'd be just fine.
This was great. What a great day of testing the new product. It's always very exciting for Sam and I. It's just as new to us as it is when a customer comes in. So thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, and thank you guys for having me, allowing me to show you guys the new irons at True Spec in Scottsdale.
Yeah, looks great. We're excited. Make sure you book your fitting, an iron fitting specifically, and come hit the new Mizuno M-13 and the new Mizuno M-15 iron, and we'll see which one is the best one for you.